Bullet sent a tweet that said 2 hours ago, trying to convince myself that I only say poggers ironically is a losing battle. It really is. It really is.
I think I only say it ironically.
I find myself describing something as pog. That's pog. And it's I don't think it's entirely ironically. It's just worked its way into my system.
It's your way of keeping up with the kiddos. Pog. Poggers. Poggies. I think working with people who are younger than myself and also in Twitch culture like helps kind of keep it fresh in my brain because I hear people say it unironically, but I still think that I only say it for comedy purposes. I really don't think that
You think so?
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain. I don't have the same.
As time goes on, it's going to become less and less ironic. I promise you.
One day it'll make it into
it's catchy. It's just, once upon a time, cool was something that was a word that was new and hip, and I'm sure some people said it ironically, but it just worked its way into the fucking culture. And honestly, fucking like out of all of them, I feel like poggers is actually the one that is going to translate into modern speech the best somehow.
Well, do you ever
that or one of those feels bad, man? Because that's still using regular English words in a full sentence. You just specifically those 3 words. You know what that means.
But
I'm not sure if that counts.
I definitely will say feels bad.
Yeah, it feels bad, man.
It's
just very easy.
Yeah, that one's got me. Do you say will you say lol or lameo or lol? No. Okay, well I definitely do that.
Maybe I'll do an exaggerated raffle.
Raffle sounds funny.
That's ironic. That's ironic. And raffle's a fun word to say. Raffle my waffle.
I use I'll say LOL.
Lego my ego.
When I want to acknowledge raffle something is funny, but I can't bother to laugh. LOL.
You sound like a fucking boomer when you say it that way.
Hey man, I'm cool. Do you not see my collar is popped? I am
very popped.
I'm the epitome of someone who is just having a good time. I ran across.
You know what I'm typing right now?
What are you typing?
How long have popped collars been a thing? With the rise of unfriendly to popping, indoor leisure style of Ralph Lauren in the 1960s, popping your collar does not make you hip or young. It makes you very boomer, apparently.
I don't think... How come... in 2020, I would say for the last 20 years, no one has popped a collar for style. I think that unless you're on the Jersey Shore, it's by and large counterculture and seemed as pretty weird. And I know that that's kind of my shtick. And I know that I intentionally popped the collar before I turned the camera on. But I also like it.
Isn't it like a fucking very blurred line, though? Because, only the Jersey Shore douchebags pop their collars, and so if you're trying to be on the other side of that but still do the same thing, you're very easily mistaken for the douchebag and not.
Well, I get mistaken for the Jersey Shore because I look most days like I just took a bath in Crisco oil because I'm so oily. I could come straight off the beach and look like I'm right out of Joyzy.
Nice hair gel, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Hair gel.
So I think I already walked that line. I think, my secret is just if I'm ridiculous 100% of the time, then I'm allowed to do stupid stuff.
Oh, that's the Slack strategy.
Yeah, and it works. So
yeah, it's a strategy that I think is very smart. 90% of the time. Like if Slacks ever wanted to be an analyst or portray himself as smart, then like that image would get him in trouble. It would work against him. But I don't think he has any intention to do that, right?
No.
Like he streams, he creates content, and I think people who like listen to him for an extended period of time realize that he's smart. But like when it comes to his job and everything that he does, he is very. I think he is somewhat. I think there is a small intention that he has done these things and set the image for himself to make his life easier in some ways. You know, you're a stupid guy, you could say stupid things. If your aesthetic when it comes to content creation is janky, then it means you never have to put that much into production. You know, it's like the arc. Have you seen the Arkosh stuff that he's creating?
I have seen some of the Arkosh stuff. Yes,
that is actually really great production. I think for like Dota 2 stuff, but specifically the things. Specifically, whenever Slacks is on screen, it goes back to like janky as fuck, But like the Dota SFM stuff, like that was all very well made. But whenever Slacks is on stream, it like immediately goes back to janky. The fucking lights off, his collar's all over the place. He's got a fucking weird ass crackling ass beard, And I think in some ways, I think he's comfortable with that. And I think he knows it kind of fits his image. And I think it also makes his life easier.
I think also, like, you can get trapped in having your content. Ugh, that word makes me vomit a little in my mouth. You can get stuck by having your content.
You're a content creator, Joey.
I know.
You're just a professional content creator.
I know.
For a business. You just sold your soul, to prop up some corporation.
I'd like to note that currently no one owns this podcast, so.
True, we haven't sold out because no one's buying.
As soon as they will, I'll be a professional content podcast creator. Point being is that I know that you can get trapped when that kind of becomes your aesthetic and that's actually your brand, that you start to create towards that, and trying to make something that doesn't look like it takes a lot of effort can sometimes counterintuitively take a lot of effort. So there's like a weird line between like what looks bad but like good bad, or how am I faking the kind of, not perfect aesthetic? How am I faking or creating a lo-fi situation? And then that can be problematic because now you're like, man, why am I spending so much time making something look so bad?
I don't think you could ever do that. You're too much of a perfectionist.
Yeah, it hurts me a little bit when things don't go right. I have to choose to have things go poorly. That's because then it's all back into my control.
You know who is not perfectionist?
You?
Valve.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna
or maybe they're extreme perfectionists because that's why we don't get any content.
Hey,
it's not ready yet.
I mean,
the patch isn't ready yet.
What do we sit here and earnestly talk about? Because we got in between these last episodes, we got that little post, a little update from Valve, right? And they're like, "Hey, everybody, we're not ready. Happy Thanksgiving." And they told us. I
remember I was asking for a Thanksgiving miracle. I was like, "Please, Valve."
I think they gave us one. I think that while we're not getting necessarily the patch that we both want to get a little bit of, Dota excitement in our veins, I think at least them saying, here are some DPC dates. January 18th? Right? I think. I'm going off memory. I should have notes for a show that we do. I think it's the 18th.
Okay. So you're telling me you were satisfied with that post?
Yeah, actually, I'm not even going to say kind of. I'm going to say yes, because I prioritized information about competitive Dota, the DPC, and literally some of my friends' livelihoods over a gameplay balance update. That's what was important to me as a fan and someone tangentially attached to people in the scene. DPC dates were more important, and I was very excited to see them actually talk about them.
Okay, so I guess it depends on your perspective. If you're thinking purely from the fact of like, when we did the podcast, our expectations, like the highest expectations we could have gotten was, oh, the patch dropped, new hero, fucking cool, bunch of people interested in Dota again. Oh, and the DPC is starting fucking, you're not right now.
Right now,
That's
look under your chairs,
impossible.
everybody. You got a DPC.
But like 2 weeks from now, okay? Like that would be the ceiling of expectations. But if we went back in time a year ago, the pandemic is starting. It's beginning to become a problem. And I tell you, here's what's going to be happening a month, 2 months from now. Things are going to be shutting down. TI is going to get postponed, all those sorts of things. And I told you, okay, 2 months from now, everything's shutting down. 12 months from now is when the DPC will start. Put it in that perspective. Are you satisfied? Are you happy with that? You're like, oh, well, that's cool.
I am not satisfied from 1,000-foot view. You're correct. If I'm taking the whole last 12 months in context, I am not satisfied in the slightest. No. I think that something went horribly wrong. If you ask me for my last 2 to 3 months of context and what's going on, yeah, I'm pretty stoked. So I guess it depends on your framing device.
Yeah. 6 months? 6 months ago? Are you satisfied with this outcome? I don't think so.
Probably not. I think this is a very fresh satisfaction.
It's literally the fact that our expectations went down so much because nothing was happening for the longest time that we're just like, please, anything. Just, I don't need it to start right now. Just tell me when it is going to start. That's all I want at this point in time. It didn't go, I want a DPC. It went from, I want a DPC with leagues and everything to, I want any kind of DPC, just something, some sort of online tournament to, I just want to know if DPC's starting again. I just want to know if it's going to start, not necessarily for it to start. Like, your expectations got curved so far fucking down over the course of this last year.
You have this
that this Valve post is like, yeah, and you know what? I read it. I was like, oh, thank God. I was happy for a moment, and then I looked at that fucking date. I looked at that date, and I was like, it's been a whole year since Corona started becoming a thing. That's what it's going to start. We basically missed out on a full year of Dota.
Well, you had like a weird metaphor for me where you started sounding like an economics teacher, and you're like, okay, so the supply of Dota stuff was going so down, the demand became infinitesimal. Like, you sounded that you went from teacher to heroin addict immediately, so quick. You're like, yeah, and then the supply and the demand, and then I need to hit a Dota right now. Oh man, I'm jonesing. I'm missing out on something. It's wild that it's been a year. I'm happy that like they're kind of that like shit seems to be together. I think that if I had to look into my crystal ball or magic 8-ball and make a guess of what was happening, is that the people on the Valve ivory tower finally feel like they have enough certainty about the future to make plans. Where there's been, I think that they might see a light at the end of the tunnel.
I guess so, but I mean, if that's what they're operating off of, if that's what Valve is operating off of, is uncertainty in the future, then what do they think literally everybody else who's dependent on the game is? It feels like
they're having a vacation, right? You're just taking a
like teams, players, content creators, talent. Like, all of these people that are like kind of dependent on the game, but we just watch every other esport and they're just like, oh, they got some things figured out. Like, again, I do not think that Worlds was a good idea, but shout out to Riot for making that sort of Herculean effort to actually make it happen. I personally don't think that Worlds is so important that you need to take that kind of risk. But there are differences between fucking putting on Worlds and not having anything at all. There's a middle ground somewhere in there that I feel like it's acceptable. But yeah, we're TPC starting in 2021. So excited for that. Yes. Unfortunately, we didn't get the patch. It's going to be delayed. Kind of expected, honestly. And yeah, just waiting, waiting for the patch, like we were waiting before. It just is crazy because this patch. Think about the patches, right?
Uh huh.
We would have TI, and then people would immediately be bitching. All right, TI's over. When's going to be the patch? Of course, it never happens immediately after TI. Valve, like people, Dota Valve people are like focused on TI, making the best patch possible, throwing the event. It happens. Thank Christ. They probably take a week off. The patch isn't going to be dropping. Usually, it drops after the first big event that happens post TI. We have the TI patch. We have like the post TI patch, maybe, where we get like a little bit of a tweak. We're still running off of that same meta. And then right after that event, boom, that's when it drops. We didn't have a TI. We haven't had this big major event. We've been operating off the same patch for so long at this point in
How long
time.
has it been now?
I think it's a little hard to say just because we have had like improvement patches. That was the one thing that Valve kind of gave us, is that since TI didn't happen, they tweaked the patch a little bit more. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, the meta has what the patch feels like has largely been the same for about a year.
Yeah, 7.27 was June.
Yeah, that was our like TI replacement patch.
7.27 was June. So we're operating on what's going to be, 6 months.
We had some sort of economy change ups for 7.27.
I don't know. I need the patch in order to feel some kind of, drive to play Dota. I'm wondering if this is launching around the same time as Cyberpunk comes out. I'm wondering if I'm even going to be like, oh, the patch is out, or if I'm going to be someone who's just, dumping hundreds of hours into playing Cyberpunk. And then being like, oh, I'll get to the patch eventually.
See, I'm the opposite. I said there's so much hype around Cyberpunk that I might actually play it, but if the patch happens, screw everything else. That what's funny is that, like, I think I said at the end of the last podcast that I was going to wait until I actually got the patch and saw what kind of content we were given before I made like a judgment. But I don't know, something about that January 18th date really just triggered me. Whatever the date was, I'm just gonna go with January 18th. I think it's the 18th. Sounds good.
I think it's like what? Why is January 18th triggering to you?
Because again, it just makes me think like, oh, it's the DPC is not happening until 2021. Like, this entire conversation for the last 9 months has been, what's Dota going to look like for 2020? We're not going to have a TI. What do we do instead? That conversation has been about 2020.
But also realistically, I mean, like,
DPC literally isn't happening until 2021.
But realistically, if you think about it, like, as soon as you get to mid-November, the rest of the year is just a wash. Like, it's not like what's the point in starting the DPC in December 12th?
Because no, I totally agree. That's why the lowering of expectations. At the time we did the podcast last week, our expectations are low enough that, like, yeah, like, I'm not expecting the DPC to be starting before Christmas and then take a 2-week break or whatever, But but when I see 2021 on the date, it's actually, they didn't write 2021, but like, obviously I see January 18th. I think, oh, that's literally the next, it's after the new year. And I think back to, like, man, we just wasted a lot of time, huh?
I keep on thinking about less about Dota, but you saying New Year triggers me a little bit on if the New Year's even going to feel like a new year, or if we're just going to be like in this continual funk until the world state changes at all. Like, I feel like a lot of people take January 1st, symbolically as like let's start anew. But I think now more than ever, it's going to be nearly impossible to be like, let's start anew. Maybe we can like have this facade of normalcy through Dota, through esports, through like, writing a different date on our calendar. But I really don't feel like it's going to be a new year until we kind of get to the tail end of whatever this is we're going through. And that might not be until a year from now. Yeah.
January 1st, 2022. That'll feel like a new year. But yes, January 1st, 2021. You know the biggest reason? I agree with you on everything when it comes to like pandemic and those sort of things. It's not going to feel like fresh start to any of those things. But think about what happens New Year's Eve. Think about what people do on New Year's Eve.
Oh well,
they go out, they party, they drink, they fucking socialize. They get all up in each other's business. They're fucking, this is when babies are being born, Joey, because so many people are having unprotected sex. And if they're not wrapping up their dicks, then they sure as shit aren't wrapping up their face. So all I'm saying is January 1st, you're going to look at there's going to be a bunch of videos and a bunch of pictures of fucking crowded dance halls and people being goddamn animals and being all around each other. And you're just like, people like me and you are just going to look at it and just be angry because it's like, well, the fucking pandemic just keep going a little bit longer then.
Hold up. Have they done the science on what if you do the thing, but you just don't do the mouth thing? I mean, I guess you're within 6 feet. So social distance isn't.
No, they've definitely there are medical warnings about that, including eating ass, Joey. You can get COVID from eating ass. So
I guess there's a lot of mucous membranes.
Just careful.
Okay.
I know that's your favorite activity. So.
Yes, you'd be really surprised. I mean, I don't know why it gets such a bad rap. I get it. Like, oh, it's a butt, it's gross. But like, come on, people. Yes, and fucking.
It's almost 2021, dog.
It's okay.
You ain't eating ass in 2021.
If we learned anything from Thanksgiving, it's that people are willing to sacrifice their normal habitual habits for the greater good of the country or the world, right?
I don't think that's what we learned.
I was trying to be optimistic.
At all.
Did you?
I think I'm pretty sure I read a bunch of people who said, you won't stop me from family's the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to see all 30 of my cousins. All right.
Roll Tide. Did you?
Guess next year you'll be seeing all 15 of your cousins that are left. I don't know.
Fucking savage, dude. Did you make the key lime pie? Did Ellie make the key lime pie?
Ellie made the key lime pie. It was very good. But yeah, we had our Friendsgiving. We had our 2 people over. So Thanksgiving of 4 people. It's pretty much what my inner circle consists of these days for social activity. And key lime pie was great. Chicken was amazing. All the food was awesome. And yeah, Thanksgiving was good. Hung out, cooked food, talked, ate.
I think I turned into a dad on Thanksgiving. And I'm having like a bit of an emotional crisis about it. Not because, again, not because of eating ass doesn't. I don't know if you did a sex ed.
We just talked about not wrapping up, Joey.
That's fine.
Did you not wrap up 9 months ago?
I've never not used a condom. Fun fact about me. There you go. I didn't share that, but I wanted to defend myself. I've never not, because I think it's important to not have kids because kids suck. What was I gonna say? I think I became a dad on Thanksgiving. So,
yeah, I need you to explain that further.
Thanksgiving, I go to my sister's house, which I feel like I shouldn't lead with becoming a father and my sister in the same sense, especially after just saying Roll Tide. But nonetheless, went over to my sister's house for Thanksgiving. Had a very small event. But when I was there, I deep fried a turkey. I fixed a toilet. And I installed a new router. So I think that I'm one step away from procreating at this point. Like my card that the DMV has is just like, man, he's ready to fornicate. Surely there's kids in his future. This guy's deep frying turkeys and fixing toilets now. My life is so sad, Cap.
Well, not if you keep having protected sex, Joey, and you're never gonna have kids.
That's the goal. I'm not strong enough to just go commit to a vasectomy. That's crazy people talk.
I never got that, by the way, because of COVID. I was like, I don't want to be spending unnecessary time in the sick people area.
It's okay. 2022 goals, right?
True. 2022 goals.
I had an argument that came up at Thanksgiving, and I kind of wanted your input on it because I think that I've just gotten into the habit of anything that's even remotely contentious in my life asking you about.
Okay, sounds good. Keep going. Which one of your family members had an absurd political idea?
Okay, first off, the answer is most of them because they're white.
Okay.
The second answer, that's
racist.
The thing that I want to talk about though is I guess in short, when you eat a hamburger,
okay,
is the top bun on the top or the bottom?
The top bun is on the top. That's why you call it the top bun.
Okay.
This is worse than any political ideology I've ever heard of, Joey. What the hell?
I'm starting.
Which one of your family? Who? It's not you, is it? You don't eat the fucking hamburger with the top bun on the bottom.
I do.
What?
Okay.
What is wrong with you? Why?
Hear me out. I just, I think that I'm a pretty self-aware person, which is something that all self-aware people say. I think I'm pretty self-aware. I think that I notice a lot of weird things that I do.
The man with the pop collar. Keep going. Go on.
Thank you. I think I notice a lot of weird things that I do, and sometimes I emphasize them to make them weirder, or I just take note of it, or I don't do the behavior because I realize it's not acceptable, right? So I'm trying to. Do I have a prop here? Okay. If you are watching the YouTube version, the timestamp is, I don't know, what's the timestamp? It's somewhere around 30 minutes, probably a hair before 30 minutes here. If you want to see a visual aid for this, imagine these three rings are my burger.
Okay.
Cap. The green ring up top, there's an orange ring in the middle, that'd be the patty, and the blue ring on the bottom is the bottom bun.
Uh-huh.
When I grab a hamburger, I pick it up.
Yeah.
I pick it up like so with my hands.
Uh-huh.
And because I grab it on the outside, when I want to bring it to my mouth, the most natural motion to do with the burger is flip it and bite. So I'm holding the burger upright with two hands, and then in order to get it to my mouth, I'm rotating my elbows towards my mouth, which brings the top bun to the bottom. And I eat my hamburgers with the top bun facing the floor.
Okay.
And this is a new discovery that I've never really consciously recognized until everyone made fun of me for not being a proper human. And I'm convinced this isn't a weird me thing, that this is that this is a thing a lot of other people do.
Okay, you have something here. Okay, the biggest argument that I can make, eat your food however you want. Fuck it, put it in the goddamn. Put your burger in a blender and eat it as a smoothie. I don't really give a shit. But the biggest reason that I could come up with for why the top bun belongs on the top and why it's called the top bun is the fact that usually the top bun, if not always, is thicker, right? It has the poofy top, right? Mm-hmm. And burgers naturally have a problem because the hamburger meat, depending on unless you really, when you do homemade hamburgers anyway, I don't know how other people do it, but usually good burgers I feel a little bit thicker, and you've got tomato, you've got lettuce, you've got cheese, you've got whatever assortment of shit that it stacks up a bit much, Mm-hmm. You have a sandwich, it's fluffy bread that condenses, and it's thinly sliced meat, It doesn't necessarily get that big, but burger gonna be a little bit thicker. So the natural problem is getting it into your mouth and being able to get, uh, especially at those restaurants where they stack a burger way too fucking high, and you're just like, why can't you just make it wider? Why do you need to make it taller? Just make it fucking wider so I can actually eat it, right? So the biggest problem is getting it into your mouth, right? The top part condenses more. So typically when you put something in your mouth and it's hard to get in there, right? The top part of your mouth that's going to be the part that kind of gets up and around, right? And that makes sense to put that part on the part that's going to condense. You're going to get up, around, and then push down, right? You're not going to do that with the bottom part. You're not going to, unless you have an underbite and it sticks out more and you go, you're not going to do that. That's why the top. So in your diagram here, that you grab and you flip the burger into your mouth, that does make sense. Very good. Well,
it's an audio medium.
I don't want to watch you break a tooth.
No one can see me eating my therapy rings.
I don't want you to have to go to a dentist because of our stupid burger dilemma here. So yes, you have a somewhat legitimate reason as to why you do that. I'll give you that.
I'll take the burger kinematics reason. It feels like a more comfortable motion for me with my hands to be eating, because instead if you're going to eat a burger normally and you're holding it on the sides both ways, you're really bringing like your hands up to your face and you're like putting your elbows out to the side, right? I gotta get my elbows out so I can properly get my hands to my mouth. But if you flip the burger, you can keep your elbows down by your sides.
So it's just a table manners thing. You're wanting to be polite to the people around you.
Sure, it's definitely that. I think I have I always have my elbows on the table. I don't know where the salad fork goes. Like, I'm not, I
don't know why it would ever possibly be a rule. No elbows on the table. Come on.
We were clearly trained in heathen households.
Yeah. That's true.
I just want to use the small platform we have to humbly ask the audience how many other people find themselves eating their burgers with the top bun on the bottom and with their elbows at their sides. And now I know people are just going to fuck with me and say that they don't do that, even though I know they do. But
the problem that I see with your whole thing, though, is that it does mean that the top bun is naturally more delicate and more prone to falling apart.
Yes.
And you are putting there's not a ton of structural integrity to your burger when you're putting it down on the plate is the problem I see. Doesn't the burger more likely come apart? Isn't the bottom bun more sturdy because it's holding down much of the weight of the burger?
Well, when I put the burger down, I'm not putting it down with the top bun on the bottom now. I'm like when it goes back down, it flips again, right? So,
oh my God! So you put it into your mouth with the bottom bun sticking up?
Yeah, and then it goes back to the plate with the bottom bun back on the plate.
See, that took away the entire burger mouth thing that I was talking about. Now I thought your burger started upside down and then you did the flip thing to put it into norm. All right, Joey. I was thinking like maybe the weight condenses the top bun a little bit more, so again, making it a little bit easier to. What the hell?
I think if you plate your burger with the top bun on the bottom, then you're just asking for it to fall over and fall apart.
Yeah.
You're just asking for that, right? What's your In-N-Out order? Are you like a just give me everything on the burger person? Are you? Oh, hold on, let me guess. Are you a no tomatoes person?
No, I like tomatoes.
Oh, fuck, he likes tomatoes.
I don't typically like onions.
Even if they're grilled?
I mean, if they're grilled, they're more acceptable. I'm like, if I get one with onions on it, like maybe, like I'm not gonna make a whole bunch of effort to get them out. I'll eat them with on it, no problem. But If I had my absolute perfect choice, probably doesn't have onions in it. I don't know what else is in a double double. Tomatoes, lettuce, that's all good with me.
Tomatoes, lettuce, pickles, spread, cheese.
I could do without the spread, and I'm not a big pickles fan.
But you'll still eat it.
Spread's fine. Yeah, I'll eat that stuff. But if I'm to order it, I'll probably take out the pickles. Probably leave the spread. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of In-N-Out. Not like the biggest fan, let's say.
I think that's where we differ in like food complacency, because pickles will just outright ruin our food for me. Like, there's no like, oh, there's pickles on my burger, I'll suffer through it and be unhappy. It's like, oh man, I hate this now.
Something about cucumber is worse in that regard.
Cucumber on burgers weird.
Well, yeah. But I just mean cucumber in various dishes. If we have this conversation, cucumber is truly the most insidious of vegetables when it comes to taste.
What if you
it's like a fucking parasite that works its way into your system, and you don't realize the effects until it's too late.
What if you get like water?
I like to throw things at me because she loves cucumbers.
What if you get water that's like cucumber infused, but you don't know that it's cucumber infused until you drink it? Do you just do a spit take and you go, what is this vile
no.
liquid?
Cucumber water is actually one of the more acceptable areas for cucumber. I'm still not happy with it. But cucumber, it doesn't have a strong taste, but it fucking works its way in there. You know, you're not going to bite in and be like, oh, really? That cucumber, man, really hits you. Like, no, that's not going to be it at all.
I'm not done.
But what it is it's going to worm its way in. You're going to, oh, there's cucumber. And I feel it in the aftertaste.
I'm not done unraveling this thread. So you're not a big In-N-Out person. You don't really like onions. I guess you can do without pickles. But then, like, if you're getting a burger from, like, one of your favorite burger places, or like what's an ideal burger then for you? Are you like a Western
I'm very
bacon burger person? Are you like a plain cheeseburger with ketchup person? Like what's your ideal burger order?
Lettuce and tomato. Honestly, for me, sandwiches and burgers and stuff, that lettuce and tomato can't go wrong with it. Throw some bacon in there, sure, I'll take it. But like lettuce and tomato is like what makes it for me. And then, throw other stuff in there. That's some specialty burgers. I remember there's Red Robin. They do a pineapple one. Sure, I like pineapple. Do that. Throw some caramelized onions or something in there. All right, sure. But lettuce and tomato, man. You gotta have at least that.
For anyone who is an In-N-Out connoisseur and is just curious, my preferred order is a double grilled onions only extra toast. Which
extra toast?
Extra toast means that they brown the buns a little bit more, so the buns are a little bit crispier. Extra toast in the buns with extra grilled onions only. So
I know people do that with the fries to make them better.
Yes, I In-N-Out, to me, I'm not a giant In-N-Out person, like most, like a California stereotype would be. If I am going to In-N-Out fries, and In-N-Out fries are some of my least favorite French fries from a fast food place, I don't like them. I insist on getting them well done, which is their code word for like cooking them for 1.5 times as long so that they're more crispy, which I think makes them more acceptable.
So if anybody just happens to listen to this podcast and has decided to click halfway through to see how much we talk about DOTA, and is asking, what does this food conversation have to do with DOTA? It's all a metaphor. The DPC setup for 2020 is very similar to my feelings on the cucumber. Relatively harmless to begin with, but as it works its way in, the aftertaste, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, It doesn't make me feel good, and I wish it wasn't there. I wish we had something else. So that's it's just a metaphor. You just, when you're listening to this podcast, just know that everything does have to do with DOTA. We just speak in layers and upon layers.
I think my ideal version of the show would be doing is if there were enough people who were deeply invested to where like they wrote fan fictions every week to talk about why every topic does relate to Dota, and there's just like one crackpot who's like, you know, the conversation they had about shitting themselves. Well, it's actually very similar to Spectre's original voice lines, because the feeling that you get when you know you just have an unexplained poo, you can't really vocalize properly. So in theory, Spectre originally Prime Spectre is just in a constant state of self shit. You know, like I want that person to really, you know, analyze every episode like that.
You know, when they talk about how everybody has shit themselves in public at least once, it's actually a scathing commentary on Valve and their handling of Dota 2. If you really just look deep enough, everyone shits themselves publicly at least once.
Hey man, conspiracies, Building 7, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. I don't know why the only conspiracies I can think about are 9/11. The Earth isn't flat, and except I think the Dota playing field is flat. Like there's edges, but you know.
All I know is I'm looking forward to the new patch because Epic League there's been like a lot of really hype games for Epic League. They've been some like wacky ass shit that's been kind of going on. The problem is that I feel like part of the reason that Secret is, I had to Google it, 5-2. They don't look like the same like uber dominant team. For the first time, they actually, you know, like lost a tournament. Now they're in this group stage and they don't look like mega dominant or anything like that. They're dropped, like even in the series that they win, I think they've gone 2-1 against two different teams, and then they flat out lost against OG and Viking GG. Like that's just bound to happen if you have the same kind of patch, because you can't keep innovating that much, you know? It's like secret like basically were like very far ahead of the game. They're very far ahead of everybody else, and it's a damn shame we didn't get to see them at TI and see whether or not they could actually clinch it for once and show that they were so far ahead of everybody else, or if the pressure would just crack them again or what. But they were just so far ahead of them. But if everyone's going to catch up eventually, you don't just get beat senselessly 20 times in a row and not learn something, you know? Like, so like eventually people are just going to catch up to you. And so it'll be interesting how big the patch is when it comes and how much it changes the meta. It'll be interesting to see if Secret does once again, like, get ahead of everybody else and become like a really dominant powerhouse, and then everyone else is struggling to catch up again, or if some other team is able to take the reins initially. I think like the first like 2 weeks, there's usually great opportunities for teams to like figure something out like really early on that nobody else has and kind of run with it and get an early lead. But the top teams have always shown that give them like 3 weeks, a month, they'll be ahead of everybody else when it comes to understanding of the meta. And then they're just going to kind of keep building on that.
Why do I assume that it's just because they don't care anymore?
You know, I think that might be I think that is a decent possibility. I think that you cannot keep training. Like, again, we talked about how like ceilings and floors and like Secret's floor is higher than all tier 2 teams ceiling, you know, and so on and so forth. I think that, yeah, that you can't just keep winning and keep your drive up, especially when you're used to playing for literally millions, and instead you only have to play for $500,000. It's a real downer, you know?
I can only buy one Bugatti this year. What the fuck?
Let me just say, Joey, I'm prepping for this For Honor tournament. It is in 5 days' time. December 5th, this Saturday. Prepping for this For Honor tournament. Reached out to, I got the contact information of all of the captains for all of the teams. It's 8 teams, so super easy. I get all their information. I just hit them up with a message, and I'm like, I'm trying to be like exceptionally polite because I understand Like, well, I don't understand. I don't know what they think of me just coming in and be like, hey, I'm going to be casting you guys. I'm not a part of the scene. Help me out. Like it's, my position is very dependent on like them being able to
You got to
throw
be
me
humble.
yeah, they gotta, like, I need their help in some way, and so I recognize that, and so I sent them like really, I sent all of them really polite message and just being like, hey, like, I just basically admitted like I'm totally new, so I'm gonna be like trying to be characterizing you guys as players and teams more so than talking necessarily about the game, because that's going to be my weakness. I totally recognize that. I just want to know as much about you guys as possible, and would love to. Every single one of them that has responded to me so far, which I think is 6 or 7 of them, has all been, yeah, it sounds great, man. I'm really excited. Like some of them were just like, hey, that's really cool that you're reaching out like this or something like that, like very forward. And then, yeah, hit me up with any questions. I send them I sent them like 5 questions. I know not to make it very long, I'm like, okay,
Keep it simple.
just, yeah, keep it simple. 5 questions, really simple, should be easy to answer. And I tell them, feel free not to answer a question if you don't want to, whatever. Just like, there's no obligation here. Every single person who responded wrote me like essays about themselves and their teams. Every single person. And I'm just sitting there going like, is this what it's like? Is this what it's like? Like, like interacting with players that are like not in Dota and are like only focused on like the game and give a fuck all about anything else, It's like, oh my God, I'm just like, my fucking mind is blown. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there going like, what if Dota players were like this? Like, holy fuck, like people would be way more involved in like the players themselves and be like invested in them rather than like their play on screen. They would be invested in them way more as people because they'd get to know their stories, and like, thank God for the Valve products. They do such a great job at that.
So are you saying that Kuroki, if you just shot him like a Discord DM and you're like, hey dude, I'm doing this thing, I got a couple questions, you might answer them, you're not gonna get a thesis back? You don't think that's gonna with you don't think Puppy's gonna be like, hold on, let me write you something out, bud?
No. like Kuro, I think, like, to Kuro's credit, like he's taken the time to talk to me about Dota stuff when I've asked, and so like he's been very gracious with his time. But it was just like, I thought it was so interesting that, and like, I know they don't really have like a ton of a scene, so maybe they're just excited for whatever. But it's like, it's a kind of like amazing to me that like Dota, there's so much money in the scene that it actually became, and it's also, I think, the nature of Dota players in general, just to be more introverted. But like it like there is so much money in the scene that you just don't have to give a fuck about anything else but solely the competition. You don't need to do anything else but just focus on just winning. That's all you need to do. And like, it's crazy how these guys are playing for fucking like $8,000, I think, is first place, split 4 ways. So at the end of the day, they're going to spend almost a month's worth of time making $2,000 if they get first place, and they're willing to give me fucking 40 minutes of their time writing up an essay for me to learn about, their players and teams. And I was just like, wow, this is like, it's such a refreshing experience, just having people who are like super open and super like hyped about like, hey, I yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you about my team. We go way back. Me and this guy used to play 2v2s all the time. I hate that guy. Me and this guy had a big rivalry going on for the longest time. But now, we're on a team together. And let me tell you, it's been real fucking rough. This is legitimately like one of the things is like, we've had a really fucking rough time. Like, our communication back and forth, we fight constantly. That's why our team name is Working Relationships, because, we fucking hate each other outside of this team, but like, we're gonna make it work anyway, and I'm like, holy shit, this is such a great story that you're giving me and just freely giving it to me. I didn't have to do anything for it.
So now do you feel like you have an increased responsibility to like properly study and learn and like do these people justice since they've given you more than you've expected?
Oh,
Like, is the burden
absolutely.
back now on you to like you are, I mean, you were already planning on doing the best humanly possible job you can do, but now surely you must be putting a little bit more pressure on yourself now that
Well,
you've like
there's
talked to these people.
I just think there's straight up more work to do now in my prep because they've given me so much stuff. Like they've literally written so much stuff that I need to break it down into a document that'll be like easy for me to like reference and remember things. So that's going to be a lot more work in that regard. But otherwise, that'll make the commentary easier because I feel like I'll have less fill time because I will have so many like interesting things to talk about for each player and each team and stuff. So, uh, yeah, I mean, it definitely I think adds a bit of responsibility and a little bit of initial work increase, but well worth it in the end because the broadcast is the most stressful part.
Do
Rather
you
be over prepared than under.
do that on pen and paper?
Do I do that on pen and paper? I used to way back early on in Dota, but I found that Dota is such a constantly evolving game through different patches and players swapping around teams and shit that those notebooks maybe it would be better to keep if it was like CS:GO where rosters were at some point in time like a little bit more stable. I'm thinking like 3 years ago where like VP was like riding on like they had like what 3 different rosters over the course of like 8 years or something like
Yeah,
that.
like
They,
wild stuff
they
in Dota terms.
right and like Dota you just never get that. It's like it's like the team is the outlier if they stay as full five going into the next TI season. That's like, whoa, you guys are weird. You guys didn't kick at least 2 people? Like, what's wrong with you? You know? Uh, so yeah, I think it's because of that and all the changes that are happening. I write Google Docs, so I can digitalize all the information and easily replace stuff that is outdated. And also, Control F is very important because it's like you're sitting there like you're on a desk, they're like, all right, 10 seconds to live, and I'm just like on my phone like going through my Google document where the fuck is team secret, where's all my notes on them. I don't want to do that with fucking pen and paper. It's a pain in the ass.
It's true. Well, where can people actually see the For Honor stuff this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know where the stream will be. I'll know the day of. That's the that I don't have that information.
I'll edit it in with a robot voice so people can be like Saturday
Yeah,
at twitch.tv/
it'll be Saturday all day. I'll probably make a tweet about it, or at least I'll retweet Slacks, who will probably tweet about it. So, yeah, that's what I got going this week.
So everyone should go give Cap a listen and watch some For Honor so the reason why people want to also hire Cap is because he'll bring an audience with him, right? Like there's people who are here to support you. So I would
That's
argue
what they think anyway.
I would argue
That's what they think. They don't realize that my Twitter profile of 90,000 followers doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, but I think that there is at least a small handful of people who are listening to this who do care about you enough to tune in so that you can say you at least brought someone. Because I don't know if I'll be there, so I need someone to at least take my place. But like, if we can at least bring one person, you can be like, yeah, I brought someone. Like, all you gotta do is bring one person to the party.
You don't have to watch the broadcast. Just go onto the stream, and then literally just take 10 seconds. Go onto the stream. Don't even wait for the ad to finish. Just type into the Twitch chat something about like, wow, this Cap guy is really good, and then just peace. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. Just
if you got multiple accounts, do that on too. Like if you got the time, that's also helpful.
No. Fuck the multiple accounts. You can just drop one thing in Twitch chat. If you have the extra time, like go on to the competitive For Honor list and then go find a Reddit thread and say something in there, you know? Like if you want to really go the extra mile, like that's the places to do it.
I'm gonna make a Reddit thread for you.
Don't do that in our Dota 2.
Okay.
I can't. I'm just waiting for the. I'll retweet the very first comment that I know what's going to be coming. Whenever Slacks or I says something about this, there's going to be a comment something about talent, abandoning Dota, no DPC, something.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that there's gonna be a Reddit thread once people start to think about it.
Yeah.
Probably.
And to be fair, Ubisoft is going to give me more work than I've gotten in Dota for like a month and a half. So,
well, shit. Okay, so go to Twitch chat on Saturday. We'll let you know where to go. Say something nice about both Cap and Slacks. Don't let it falter about Slacks.
Yeah. You got it. Because Slacks is again one of those things that it takes a little time to adjust to him as a person. Once you've adjusted to him, once you realize like, oh, this guy's actually really funny and clever, and he's not just like a total moron screeching on the microphone. Like once you realize that, then you're gonna love him. But like initially, these communities are gonna go, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" So you gotta help him out, you know.
help Slacks out. Help Cap out. Whew. I'm losing it. I'm losing everything. Tune into For Honor, and then just keep on waiting for the patch with us. We're in lame duck patch season. There's nothing going on. I have to find. My goal is to find something interesting to talk about before the next episode, because it's not gonna be Dota related, because we're still gonna be waiting for a patch. So,
hey, by the way, did we talk about the Arkosh thing last week?
No, we didn't.
Did you see that they beat the fucking PPD team?
I did, because I got up pretty early for like some ungodly reason. I don't know why that game was happening at like ass crack o'clock on the West Coast. I guess maybe that's sometimes selecting people to play or something, or maybe like I don't know. Do we know where the Arkosh people are? Are they like all on the East Coast, so it's just like not friendly for me as Mr. West Coast?
I have no fucking clue. But all I wanted to say was I thought this entire thing was like some sort of weird joke. And then people were telling me it was an actual team. And then I saw they were facing like PPD Fear or something like that. And I was just like, oh, well, they'll probably get a good shit stomp. And I'm sure it probably had something to do with the PPD and Fear, whoever else was in that, were probably just like not treating it seriously at all. And probably just like, whatever. But I was very surprised the other day when I was grinding some Dota yesterday. Somebody told me that they had actually won. They actually 2-0'd. So maybe we have a new NA team to look out for.
Well, that's support. That's like, I mean, I haven't been following Slacks' messaging too much. I think some of the videos he's made is pretty cool. But that's kind of like half the point, yeah, right? Like I always thought that the goal was to like, you know, at least be semi-competitive or like be in DPC. So I mean, if Slacks can accomplish that as a team manager, then I'll be even more interested.
I honestly, this whole entire thing, I'm more interested in the success of it as a team organization coming into Dota. Like, I know it's kind of like a joke thing, and like I know it's only Dota. It's not like a true team organization or anything like that. But like, if they're the only team motors coming into Dota, everyone else is getting the fuck out. Ninjas and Pajamas just left. He said they'd be back. We'll see.
Oh, I didn't see that. They dropped.
Yeah, that's where this was leading to. It's the entire thing that I opened with that entire Arkosh thing, because today Ninjas and Pajamas said, sorry guys, we're out for a bit. We're gonna peace out for a minute. Even after the DPC was announced January, or maybe because it was announced and it's all the way in January, Nip's just like, yeah, we're gonna take a breather.
Man, how many times has Era
We say farewell to Dota 2 for now.
How many times has Era been on and off Nip in the last 5 years? 3?
I don't know.
4?
I don't know, but it's concerning unless they're just dropping this team in order to pick up mud golems. Maybe maybe that's a thing. But the fact that like mud golems is like pretty good. There's this Sumail team. I know I read some interview about them. Apparently they're not like, I don't know how much you really call them a team just yet. I think they're kind of like figuring out whether or not this is a viable team or not.
They're like dating. They're
That's,
just
yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like. It's like we're gonna get in some fights, you know, and then we'll see whether or not this is gonna work. But yeah, with like good unsigned teams out there. I mean, NA was already fucking NA. All right, North and South America is a fucking wasteland. Like, yeah, but because Europe's where all the good teams are. But then you look at Europe and it's like, okay, Ninjas to Pajamas just left. Mud Golems is really good, unsigned. One team has a TI winner and Sumail on there with Powerhouse VP former members, and they're unsigned right now. Like, oh, I fucking there's a lot of teams unsigned. That's a little concerning.
It'll all get fixed when the DPC comes back. Optimism. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see C9NA Dota rise again. Maybe the only
if you took out or player owned organizations, Team Secret, Nigma, OG, all you have left. Actually, I'm not even going to say Alliance because honestly, Alliance is so tied to Dota. They're like still kind of a player-owned organization. They were former players that own that organization. I'm going to say they don't count either. Real traditional, even though they're building into a Navi VP and stuff. Like, I'm not going to count them on this list. There's Viking GG, another player-owned one. Navi, Team Liquid, Virtus Pro. Those are your names. That's it. In Epic League Division 1.
Yeah, and then you can add EG to that list, and then I guess that's it, right?
Yeah, you go into Division 2, Gambit Esports, Team Empire, Windstrike, CIS organizations, different. I think that's just different. The European ones, oh look, X Ninjas in Pajamas. That was the only one. Everyone else, unsigned. 5 Men, Spider Pigs, Live to Win, Yellow Submarine. I assume those are unsigned.
It feels like we're back in 2011 again.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go back to a time where a team signing with an org is really big, you know? Fucking 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. I don't really give a shit. Oh, this team signed with this organization. I don't care. Don't care. Oh, they jumped from this organization to this organization. Don't care. But back in 2012, 2013, oh shit, Dota's blowing up. Oh shit, this unsigned team just got picked up by an org. A new org coming into Dota. Oh shit. Hype. Fucking hype.
I can't wait for 100 Thieves NA Dota.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
let's go to
100 Thieves has one of the Dota old school icons in Milk. They literally have somebody working for them, and they're not interested in Dota. Milk somewhat regularly tells me, he's like, you really got to bounce from that Dota shit, dog. Somebody who made their fucking career in Dota's like, you need to get out, bro. That's not the esport to be.
Excuse me, we're here for #passion.
He's like, have you thought about casting Valorant? I'm like, no. No, I haven't.
Nah, there's not enough Ubisoft in there for me.
Yeah, time for me to, that's a real play. When people are going to talk about, like, some guy's going to say, like, oh, look, he's abandoning Dota. He's abandoning Dota. He said he wasn't going to do that. He's leaving us. You know what? I'm not abandoning Dota For Honor. Are you kidding me? When the tiers of esports, Dota, like For Honor's like so far down there on the tier list, like that's not going to be making me money. You know what is though, Joey? You know what Ubisoft game is going to get me? That sweet cheddar.
That's Assassin's Creed.
What?
Far Cry. Just Dance.
I don't know if that's Ubisoft or not. I'm not really that familiar with the Ubisoft franchises, to be honest.
Okay, well.
But I do know they do the Rainbow Six Siege or whatever that game's called.
Dude, Rainbow Six Siege.
It starts with For Honor, but I get in good with the developers, and then I work my way into that esports scene.
Dude, Siege is pretty sick.
Who does Rocket League?
I think Rocket League is a pretty insular community.
Time to break that open.
You're gonna learn about cars and kickflips?
Hell yeah. It's soccer with cars. What could possibly
You don't
go
need to
wrong?
know
I
what
could
kind
get
of
that
damage
easy.
immunity goes through magic resistance,
Yeah,
and then
there's no deep mechanics. You kidding me? Fucking For Honor's just like, oh fuck the frame rate data and shit. I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm not a fighting game expert. I don't know how to do these numbers. Get me out. This character has frame advantage when they use a light attack, but frame disadvantage when they use a heavy attack. I'm like, I just hope I get the characters' names right. I hope I look on the screen and see that character and can correctly identify its name.
Are you gonna have a cheat sheet?
I haven't thought about it. I guess I'm gonna test myself here in like 3 days' time. And like watch some games and just kind of like see if I'm able to make some simple call outs.
Okay.
If I can't do that, because the thing is, like all esports, it's not every character is viable. So there's like a list of like 10, 12, maybe 14. That's all I need to learn.
Someone's gonna pull out a techies pick, and you're gonna be like, "Oh,
yeah."
Wow, I've never seen that character before.
So you know how like For Honor's all knights and Vikings and like a bunch of fucking melee warriors? They have a ranged hero. It's called Nobushi. He does the fucking the sickle with the rope attached. You throw it at people and shit and pull it back.
Yeah.
That ninja thing. Yeah. That's like the only ranged champion. It's the only ranged character in the game. Somebody's got to pick that out. And I'm just be like, I don't know shit. I've run into that in matchmaking and I don't like it.
Well, I, for one, look forward to watching some For Honor this weekend to support and talk about you in the chat, and also just to see what's going on. And maybe, if I'm lucky, to see some uncomfortable moments, because then I can clip them out and we can talk about them next week.
Thank you for lying and saying you were going to watch it so you can make a good outro. I appreciate that.
Well, I know how I'm not even. That's not. I'm not even beginning to segue into the fact that, if people are listening to the show but don't follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then they're stupid and should click the follow button because it helps us. Or, watch on YouTube if that's your thing, because you can Google side poll and they're in either spot. Take us on your phone, take us on your computer, put us in the background. I don't know. Maybe you got one of those data plans where it's no data to watch YouTube on your mobile device, so you can just
don't Google side poll. That doesn't work. Don't. But if you Google side poll podcast, that definitely works. I was curious if I typed in side poll if we would actually come up. Unfortunately, that's horse stuff. So.
Oh, fucking horse stuff, man.
Fucking horses. Fucking outdated transportation. Like, I know, right? Get it off of Google already.
Walking glue. Like, okay.
Jesus.
God. My night has been so delirious. Thank you for helping me get through it, Cap. I will we'll be rooting for you this weekend, and then we'll be back to talk about Not the Patch next week.
Yeah. Not the Patch. Won't be talking about that.